Hello, welcome to the first installment of Mental Health Musings. For some context, this is likely unscripted because I could be asked right now to write an entire script about my experiences, but I want to do this because I know it would be mentally, it would be fulfilling. And I would also give people insight into how it really is to be someone who is clinically mentally ill, someone who is in clinics and on a regular takes meds and generally exists in the scheme of the mental health world. Scheme is lightly used, so don't mind a bunch of stuttering. This is as raw as I can get it. Maybe in the future I'll do some proper scripting, but as of right now I have a few things I want to talk about. So welcome to the first installment of Mental Health Mental Health Musings. I'll probably cut out a few things. So, what is my first conversation? I had this planned. Not scripted, but planned. I wanted to talk about my mental hospital experiences to begin with. As people might know, not everybody, this is actually fairly new that I'm discussing this on YouTube. I am severely mentally ill. And what I mean by that, I know some people will not be too keen on the term. I am clinically depressed. I have bipolar. I have struggled with mania and hallucinations and the such throughout my life. I don't just have bipolar. I have a mix, as a matter of fact. My bipolar is in regards to my schizoaffective. I have schizoaffective disorder with bipolar. So not fun. There has been talk of me being borderline personality disordered. Anxiety, PTSD, depression, of course. I've been through a lot in my lifetime. So, where do I start? Yes, mental health services. So, I have been in and out of the hospital more times than I can really count. It was a crutch. It still is a crutch occasionally. All I know is I've struggled through many things, but mental health hospitals get a horrible rap, and it is absolutely understood. Some mental health hospitals to this day are absolute bullshit. And you know, we're not exactly experiencing what we experienced way back. Lobotomies, no. Straitjackets, I highly doubt that there are straitjackets. I have never been in a fucking straitjacket. I've never been in a rubber room either, or padded room. The hospitals I go to don't have any of that, mainly because my mother has been through mental health when you would expect that stuff to be a lot less intuitive. But me, you know, I'm in modern mental health services and hospitals. I will not label any of the names of these hospitals, but I have been going to two separate hospitals. The hospital I originally go to was for minors. It was when I was a child. And then the hospitals that I began to go to for adults were a whole lot better than the child hospitals. You'd think they'd be more accommodating to children. Now they're more accommodating to adults. You know, the whole thing. So, how do I start with talking about hospitals? Well, as I stated earlier, I've never been in a straitjacket. I've never been in a padded room or a rubber room. I will distinctly talk about the adult hospitals. So, how's the process? So, you're going for your mental health struggles, right? Either you have attempted, or you have been through a significant amount of trauma, or you are just having a terrible time. You are not doing well, and you're not generally a safe person for yourself right now. So you either get, depending on how severe, you either get petitioned to go in, you go in voluntarily, or you are, in some cases, you're brought in by the police for concern of your well-being. I was never brought in. I was not fully petitioned at any time, but I was prompted to go in by a psychiatrist at one point. But nowadays, my stuff has been completely voluntary. I've gone in with, like, at times convincing, but generally I know when I need help, and I go in when I need it. So, you go into the hospital, and your first process is writing down your name, giving them your information, emergency contacts, all that shtick. And once that is through, they'll, copy things, sign things. You'll sign things. There's a lot of HIPAA involved. There's a lot of stuff like that involved. So you end up writing down everything you need. And then, cool, they put a band on you. This is the initial band at times. And then you sit in the waiting room for a while. The waiting room is honestly the worst part at times. Because either you're in a completely empty room or you're in a completely full room, depending on what time you go in. You get checked in, you institutionalize is a strong word, but essentially that's just, I find myself usually going at night. Night is usually where it gets worse for me. But yeah, you get eventually called in. You're taken into a room, at least depending on the hospital. For me, this is what happens in my current hospital that I go to when I need it. You get taken into the room. You are told to get into these absolutely uncomfortable paper scrubs. Oftentimes they're red. There are a few blue ones, but oftentimes they're red, in my experience. They're horrible to be in. This is arguably the worst thing that you can be in sometimes. It can be quite degrading going from your clothes to this. It's for your safety. They're doing it for your safety. They're checking through the clothes you have. If you want to make sure you have clothing, often pack a bag if you know you're going and you are prepared to go, full of clothes. I'll tell you the essentially limits to clothing. So they check for your clothing. You're in those paper scrubs for a while. They reserve you a room and a bed. They'll say they'll reserve you a bed, and once you're reserved, you'll be walked to the unit. As soon as you enter this unit, you're probably going to notice that there is a staff desk. A lot of people call it a tech desk or a front desk, or it's generally the section that your techs and your providers will be at. Essentially the people that are on unit, day shift, night shift. Generally, depending on the place you go, they'll ask you to be away and not dwelling too close unless you need something. That is usually for HIPAA laws. But generally, it is going to be there in... Oh, text, yeah. A lot of people don't realize that the people that work with you directly, other than your doctor and a nutritionist if you need it and all that such, are called techs. They are people on unit who generally tend to everyone. They'll be sitting at those desks, they'll be handing out meds, they'll be checking on you, taking your vitals, and all that such. Nurses, all that. But generally, it's, you get taken in, you're put into a room, and, you essentially write down a bunch of things, you sign some papers, they take you in, they start checking your skin for, blemishes, more like scars, injuries, anything that looks like it could be concerning, you know, if you're being put through, a difficult time and there's not really a safe person with you, they'll check if there's bruises. But generally, it's to check you out. It can be also quite uncomfortable because you're sitting there having your skin checked out, but generally they try to make the experience a lot less difficult. And then, after they get everything marked, you can finally get into your clothes. So you can get out of those paper scrubs. But here's where we get to the thing. Clothes have rules. No strings, no shoelaces, no nothing like that. They are a safety hazard. So you will often have things taken out of your clothes. So if you don't want things taken out of your clothes, either tell them and they will keep it behind the desk or in the spot that, you know, for safekeeping, and they'll hand you the clothes that pass the check. And then you are essentially free to walk around and explore the unit. Some details you will notice. There are no handles. There are no handles, nothing really sticking out of the wall of the such. Anything that's sticking out of the wall is blunt and smooth. You can't, like, hang anything on it. There's really nothing you can hang on it or grab. Like, the shower in your room will be a push, usually, or a spin. And depending on where you go, you're limited with water. It'll go off after a while, and you'll have to press again. Luckily, the adult hospital that I've been to does not do that. You can run as much water, they just check it on you. Knock on your door, which is oftentimes either it looks like a stall door. It doesn't lock. So they try to respect your privacy. But if you're in there for too long, they have to knock and check you out. Not look at you, but they have to check if you're okay. You know, a verbal, hey, I'm still here. And then you'll notice that the doors don't even really have concrete handles. The handles are either, like, flat facing and you can't, like, do anything on it. You pull, or it's just a push. The only way they lock is from the outside, and a staff member has to do that, which is, you know, another safety precaution. Now, how do you expect the essentially room to look? it's a room, you know, you get a little cubby, you get your bed. So if you're lucky, the hospital has nice fucking windows, but they are very thick glass and there is no breaking that. Sometimes you'll have a table in that room, oftentimes you will, and it is concreted into the floor. It is attached. The chairs are fucking heavy. They are heavy as shit. And that's generally the whole, like, gist of it. Things are fucking heavy in that place. But when you go out of your room, there's often halls, all that. When you go out, you'll notice that there is a day room. I call it a day room or a day lounge. This room is open basically all day except for when groups are happening. If you don't want to go to groups, you'll have to stay in your room or in the halls. This room has chairs, a TV, small tables, and they often have activities that you can pick up from the like closets, I guess you could say. The TV is controlled via staff, but oftentimes you'll have movie choices, show choices, and you'll go and you'll be like, hey, can you put this on? I want to watch the fucking cooking channel or some shit. Cool, you know, right. Right. So cool, you have a day room. Sometimes they have a kitchen cranny, and they'll have, almost always these hospitals will have apple juice and cranberry juice. And the reason they have cranberry juice in particular is because it helps with urine tract infections. It helps limit that, and they'll oftentimes be hydrating you as much as they can, to avoid any issues. And then you'll go in and you can grab really anything. Sometimes they'll have a coffee machine. That's fucking awesome. You can ask for tea bags too and make tea. It's fucking cool. That is like awesome to me. And then you will have these groups. Dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is at certain times. And that'll be off unit. If you want to go off unit, you'll often be given a safety plan. So you have to sign this. Usually it's after you've met with your doctor/psychiatrist in the hospital. And they'll clear you. And, once you have that signed, you'll be put on a cleared board. And you can go off unit for activities or rec room or cafeteria. Generally pretty, it's like a very freeing experience while you're in there. Breakfast will be brought to you, lunch will be brought to you, dinner will be brought to you. You won't have much of a choice unless you talk to your nutritionist, if you're on unit. Off unit, you'll be given the option of like 2 things and like multiple other things. Unless you talk to your nutritionist and you need it a certain way. Now this is a hospital by hospital basis. Sometimes they'll have snack bars. The one I go to, they'll like allow you some amount of money or credits, whatever. And you'll be able to buy it until, you refresh your quote-unquote credits or money. I'm being very loose with that because I'm trying not to give myself away too much. But generally, cool, you can buy these really fucking cool snacks. If you're craving a fucking Reese's bar, you can get a Reese's bar. It's fucking fantastic. Like, you don't understand. This makes me so fucking happy that I can get a fucking Reese's Cups while I'm inpatient. It's fucking fantastic. And then, you'll get the option of food. You can sit and you can eat and talk to people and interact with the other patients. and then you go back to unit. And often they have groups and such scheduled. So, a group will come up, you'll go in, and I'm gonna be honest with you, every time, if you're a frequent goer to hospitals, you'll memorize these people you meet. You will recognize them, and they'll start to recognize you. Which is both a good and a bad, not bad, but a sad thing. It's not bad that you're going there. It's just they'll recognize you, and you'll be like, oh, hi, and they'll be like, oh, how you doing? Are you doing okay? These groups usually involve talking about your issues. Not like a fucking anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. Sometimes it can be like that, but that's engaged by you. Often they have, books, that they go off, or, daily, subjects and such. Really depends on the person who's running the groups. There's also groups called rec groups, or rec rooms. This is recreational, therapy, so I prefer recreational therapy. It sometimes will come in with instruments, or if you're cleared off unit, you can go and play pool, or do puzzles, or generally do really fun things. This is like the put life into everything. And it's not a horrible experience, in my opinion. It can be if you're miserable, but generally, I think the most issues I've had are you meet some patients that you just want to shake, and you meet some staff that you kind of want to shake too, but you find good people. One of the things that is a really good thing to do, I noticed in the hospital, is talk to people. There are a bunch of people who are in the same situation as you. I've met people who are, and a lot of people think, oh, I'm going in because all these people are fucking crazy. No, you meet, people who have just genuinely been going through a lot. They could be fathers, mothers, siblings, college students, older people who are going through a lot. It's really, it's normal people. Some people are there because they are just too stressed and they need help, or some people are there because they need resources. Some people are there because they have just reached their limit and need help. And this is really me going semi-deep into the conversation. Now, there are still bad things, and keep in mind, this is all my experience. It can be really miserable sometimes. You'll stay in your room if you don't feel good, and isolation is something that might happen, and the staff try to keep you from isolating. When you talk to people, they'll probably try and talk to you. But, sometimes I would just sit in the room and look out the window, feeling frustrated and tired, and asking myself, why do I feel like this? And why do I have to suffer like this? And what did I do wrong? It's not a fun experience to feel that way, but you're not broken when you feel that way. You're not broken. It's not your fault. You struggle and you go through a lot. And it doesn't matter if you're man or you're woman or you're trans or you're non-binary or you're anything. It's just, everybody goes through something, and it's hard to give yourself some love when you feel so miserable. And all you can really do is try to get by, because and even if your brain is fighting against you, there are people that care. And there are people that are waiting for you to get back. You know, it's a frustrating situation. When you spend your time there, you find out a lot about yourself. Some people don't, but I think I find out a lot about myself when I'm impatient. Depending on how things go, you get these resources, you get everything you need. But once you get out, you gotta learn to cope. You gotta take the help you're given. Now, I have kind of barely scratched the surface. There is way more that I have not discussed here. This is essentially the base process and whole thing that you go through when you're in clinics and mental hospitals. But this is my first video with my ramblings and musings. I hope that you have enjoyed this. This is a very personal, real thing for me. I love you all. Thank you for coming. I know I sound really, like, nasally because I don't know, I think it's a season. I hope you all have a good Christmas. And I hope when the year comes around, when the new year, I hope it gets easier. Because I'm hoping it gets easier too. I'll see you next time. Bye.